I mean, Hendrik Verwoerd today, the general consensus would be that he was this massive racist, evil planner that just wanted to come up with all these massive, elaborate 4D chess plans in order to make black people suffer. But if we look at the way that he was viewed during that time, it is very interesting that he was viewed as this liberal Dutchman. And I say Dutchman because Verwoerd can be seen as sort of an honorary Afrikaner because he wasn't even born in South Africa. He was born in the Netherlands. He was a Dutchman. He wasn't an Afrikaner before he sort of assimilated into the culture of the Afrikaner. So to give you an example, the Bantu Education Act was, in his words, an idea that he had to improve the literacy rate amongst black people. That was first and foremost the first letters we see where he starts talking about this concept. The main issue he was addressing was the fact that the vast majority of black people during that time was still illiterate, and that needed to be fixed. So when people talk about the Bantu Education Act, usually they would say things like, a lot less money was spent per black child than per white child, and that's the end of it. But nobody asks, what did Verwoerd actually take away from the black communities? Or what did he actually give to the black communities? What was the education system like before Bantu education was introduced? And the reality is that there was not really an education system in the black communities before Bantu education. The one or two schools that actually taught black children were mostly German, English, Scottish missionaries that set up these schools. And while these schools did get state funding, it was impossible for them to actually educate all the black children. So who did get educated? And this is another very interesting concept. People like Nelson Mandela, who was basically a prince or an adopted prince in the Xhosa community. And then you have letters from Dr. Albert Herzog towards Dr. Verwoerd, in which he heavily criticized him. He said, "You can't do this. This is our money. We worked so hard for this. You can't just go out and start giving our money away. This money needs to go to our children and our children only. This money needs to go to poor whites or poor Afrikaners only. This money should only be reserved to uplift our people even further, to ensure prosperity for our children and our children's children." He was very angry at Dr. Verwoerd for implementing the Bantu Education Act. So what did the Bantu Education Act do is it basically stopped government funding to those few elite missionary schools and said that we are going to set up a system where there's enough schools so every single black child can go to school and at least reach grade 7, basically, if you want to speak in today's terms, where you at least have a level of functioning literacy, where you can at least read for meaning. That was the goal of it. And the apartheid government and Bantu education was very successful in this goal because by 1994, when the ANC took over, illiteracy amongst black people was less than 10%. And the illiteracy amongst black people were mostly older generation people. The younger generation was mostly taught how to read and write for meaning. And I think that if you then compare Bantu education to what we have right now in South Africa, and this is where it becomes really controversial, then I would be, based on historic evidence, I would be able to say that the current education system for black kids in South Africa is far worse than Bantu education was, because the actual literacy rate has declined significantly among black kids since Bantu education was stopped. And I base this on some studies that was done by some humanitarian groups on how many of South Africa's 15-year-olds are functionally literate, can read and write for meaning. And some of these studies, there's quite a few of them, but on the higher end, some of these studies says that more than 80% of South African children aged 15 are not functionally literate. That is what we have today. So if they say they want to reverse apartheid, they are doing a very good job at reversing the Bantu education system. And then if we dig deeper into Bantu education, we see, I think it was somewhere in the 1970s, the so-called Afrikaans Medium Act was passed, where they started introducing Afrikaans medium education into the black schools in the Bantu education system, and they were heavily criticized for it, and there was a lot of protests against this Afrikaans medium education. But if you go back and you look at the reasoning before this act was passed, why they wanted to pass this act in the first place, it wasn't to create some sort of Afrikaans supremacy. It was a way that they wanted to improve Bantu education. Because during that time, only 1 in 3 of the teachers at black schools, black teachers, were actually qualified teachers. Qualified in the sense that they had some sort of tertiary education that equipped them with the knowledge to teach kids. Other were semi-educated. They basically had the equivalent of matric, and then they would become a teacher. And they, for 20 years, they tried in order to educate black teachers, but it wasn't going fast enough. And then they said, well, we do have a surplus of Afrikaans white teachers currently. We have to send our Afrikaans teachers to these schools in order to improve the quality of education there. And the teachers then said, but we can't. We can't teach in Zulu and in Xhosa or in English or any of these languages. I only feel capable of teaching in Afrikaans. I don't have the skill to teach in another language. And that's where the act was brought in. And it didn't force the kids to get education in Afrikaans. It only introduced Afrikaans as an alternative medium to these schools. So if you look at the actual facts and the actual arguments, look at the source documents, you see a completely different picture than what is painted today. The picture that they tried to paint in that time as to the arguments why they would introduce these was purely egalitarian. My mother is a teacher, or was a teacher at, well, not a teacher, actually a lecturer at the Tshwane University of Technology in the
Uh-huh.
early 2000s. And she taught Xhosa and Zulu. She taught black languages at this university. And the program where they started to try and actually educate people in university in their own native African languages was stopped. It's only English now because they failed to ever build the black languages up to an academic standard where you can actually teach technical subjects in an African language. It's simply not possible today. Verwoerd's idea was that he was going to uplift not only the people but the language so that people can start doing PhDs in mathematics and physics in Zulu or in Tswana. But if you look today, that also failed under the ANC, that process. That it also regressed to a level where they don't even try anymore. Because I remember when I was at university, there was this big upheaval made of one student that did his PhD in, I think it was Tswana, and but it was in the humanities.
Yeah.
Today, there has not since ever been anyone that completed any technical doctorate in a black language. And I think that if the system was allowed to continue, maybe today there would have been a guy that could have completed his physics doctorate in a black language. But under the ANC, that failed. That never happened.